All right, everyone, welcome into the next iteration of the Veterans Awareness Project Workshop. It is the year 2025. We took a couple of weeks off to, spend some time with family. I still have family here, but decided, it is the first Sunday of 2025 and couldn't miss out on making sure to stream and getting out to people. We are currently streaming on a couple of different platforms. Let me just move this. Move this over. That way people have a visual. So basically we are currently streaming on TikTok. We are currently streaming on YouTube. We are currently streaming on Facebook, and we are currently on Twitch all at the same time. So this is basically a way that, hey, I may not be able to see all the chats all at once, but mostly if people tune into the YouTube one, that's the easiest one for me to view, and Twitch. Those are the two that basically I can get the most interaction with easier without having any issues. TikTok is just simply on the phone, but that's about it. We have a couple of announcements to start. Basically, we have launched our Veteran Awareness Project website. It's just vetawarenessproject.com. You could tune in, check it out, see what it looks like for you, see how it could benefit you. This will be basically to add a couple of things on there. And we'll be using that as the website will be used basically to make sure that veterans are getting information that is not as easy to find. So if you need VA forms, if you need DBQs, we'll be putting nexus letters examples once we start gaining a couple more of them, so that way we can have that information and we can have it available to veterans to use in case of any need. A lot of the times it's a lot difficult because nexus letters is not something that is, best way of putting it is announced, and it's not readily available, especially now with the new law that just came in that they are going to try to change the DBQs a bit to a certain extent. So that's something that we need to make sure to pay attention to, be advised that there are incoming changes. There's always changes coming through. And I think that's why the website does a better job, because this way it allows veterans to find information a bit quicker. We have our newsletter, and our newsletter is basically going to be just a breakdown of what's going on within the week. So this past week, we've had a couple of things updated, a couple of things changed. We've had the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024 signed. And most of the time when veterans hear this stuff or they get this information, they're not actually knowing what these changes are. Most of the time, veterans are finding out after the fact, or when it's important to them, what these issues are. So the whole purpose is to try to develop something where, hey, if Congress or the Senate Veterans Affairs Committees or the House of Representatives committees create something, pushes a bill or something like that, it's a way to make sure that you are being notified of this so that you're aware of possible changes. A lot of the times, most veterans do not know these changes. Most don't even know about the DBQs. The DBQs, which is the Disability Benefits Questionnaire, was something that was filled out previously only by VA medical professionals. So there wasn't the ability to have any people use it as a as a public forum. It wasn't a public document. So your own private doctor was not able to do that. In 2021, that changed. It opened it up so that DBQs were available to everybody, so that anybody that you went to see could fill out a DBQ. And a lot of veterans don't understand that when it comes to those DBQs, those are some of the most, it's an important document, because not only does it show you and go through the motions of having your private doctor diagnose you, tell you when he's diagnosing you, but it also puts in together the other criteria and the other issues that may be within that disability. So let's say you are filling out a back issue or a musculoskeletal issue. It'll give you a breakdown of all the different things that may be claimed. Now, I know a lot of times when we go to the doctor, we just say, hey, this hurts, or I got back issues, my upper back hurts, or my lower back, whatever the case may be. But there may be more underlying factors within our ailment that most of the time we don't think about. Most of the time we don't realize that, hey, if we're having back spasms isn't just something that happens. There's something underlying within us, within our back, that's causing the back spasm. It could be a bulging disc, it could be a slipping disc, it could be the degenerative disc disease that is lowering the cartilage between your disc, which is causing you to have spasms because your body's like, hey, what was going on here? And it's shocking itself to try to prevent itself from doing that. But as you noticed, there's no diagnostic code, if you looked into it, to back spasms, because back spasms isn't a specific thing. It is a reaction to something you're dealing with. So that DBQ would allow you to see it, and we'll show a couple of DBQs on there to do that. First question of the day. Do you need nexus letter, or can the CMP examiner statement be used as a nexus letter for a claim that's secondary to a current disability? So let me highlight this question. See if it pops up. Okay, so there's the question. Do you need nexus letter, or can the CMP examiner statement be used as a nexus letter for a claim that's secondary to a current disability? So this is kind of like a loaded question here, because you gotta think about it. Nexus letters are there to make a service connection or to connect a disability. Now, let's say you have a current disability that's already rated and already service connected. You are claiming a secondary. So you want to make sure you have that nexus letter, because the thing is you don't always, like the one thing I always tell veterans, do not leave it up to the CMP examiner or to the VA rater to identify and make sure your claim is good. Your job is to make sure that without a doubt, you can hand this to that CMP examiner, to that VA rater, and they can look at it, read it, and be like, you know what? He has all the information he needs here. I don't got many questions. I just need to use this to see his range of motion, and that's it. Because the nexus letter is always best, because you are creating a diagnosis connection to that secondary. So yes, you have a service connected issue. That's the first issue, right? You're trying to connect something to it. You want to have a medical professional fill that information out and put that document in there to say, yes, this is connected to this and was caused, and the words that they like to use, most likely than not, or more likely than not. They want to make sure that that medical provider is putting that information saying, yes, this is that connection. Also within the nexus letter, what a lot of people fail to do is like, hey, make sure you're providing this nexus letter to your provider. Make sure you have a template of what is going on to your provider. Do not just assume that they just know what a nexus letter is. We have like one example that we've been using, but it's a more general one, and we have examples of other ones that have been noticed. And sometimes you can even look them up. There's a lot of other websites that claim to have them and stuff like that. It's important to make sure you have what it is you're being diagnosed with, whether it's primary or a secondary issue. What's the problem? What's it causing? How is it affecting you? A medical provider diagnosing you with it, why he diagnosed you with it, why he believes that this was caused by your time in service, medical research amplifying what he's stating. Because you got to remember, he's a medical professional, but at the same time, a VA rater is not a medical professional. Most of them are just people that just get picked up. Hey, they need a job, they signed up, they're not veterans, they may not understand the stuff, and you need to put that out there. Once you have that information there, then it's easier for them to be like, oh, okay, this is a secondary. But that's something you have to make sure. Do not put it on the CMP examiner to try to give you a thing. Don't get me wrong. There are CMP examiners that are great, and they will add claims to your claim because of what they've diagnosed and what they've seen while they are examining you. Not always. I was just like, some go above and beyond. Some just do their job. Some, hey, you came here to be seen for your knee. They are just going to look at what you claimed on your knee, fill out the documentation, and you'll be on your way. And then there's others that'll go more in depth and be like, well, I noticed that this part was messed up, or this was caused by this, and this may be possibly a claim, and they'll put that in there. But you can't go off of that, because that's a very it's a very hard line to justify for the stuff. You have to have all the information in there. You have to be as specific as possible. Like I said, like I tell people always, I've always told people on this channel, when you are filing a disability claim, you need to be able to have your disability claim and give it to a random person. You should be able to give your documentation to a random person that does not know what you're about to file or anything like that. And they should be able to go through that paperwork and be like, you know what? Your knee's messed up. This is why your knee is messed up. Okay, you got injured at a random person should be able to tell you what's wrong with you after you file your disability claim. If you're looking at your own disability claim and you can't even believe you got the issues you're dealing with, that's a problem. Because that's when we fall into that problem of, hey, now you have to appeal. Now you have to find more evidence, even though you have all the evidence. The thing is you didn't populate it and properly document it and properly submit it, that I don't know what you're talking about. And it makes it a lot difficult for veterans. And then you got veterans like, hey, you could talk to many veterans and they'll be like, oh, I've been in this process for like 8 years, 9 years. There should be no reason why your disability claim is taking 7 to 8 years, because it's dealing with taxes. And then that's how a lot of these companies or other gurus want to charge you for this information. I do this for free. This is free information. You have the resources. They're all online. There's nothing here that is just like special. I'm not giving you information that is just like behind closed doors. All this information is available to you and it's visible for you to use. Just most veterans don't know how to use it. And then you have companies that take advantage of that. That's where it comes into what we were going to talk into today, which is the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024. So the biggest thing and the newest thing coming out now, which just got signed, I believe this was on the 23rd of December, it became law. And this is basically that the director or the secretary of Veteran Affairs, look, somebody just said it took 11 years to get some of my claims approved, and I'm really good at claims. Look, let's get this also straight. It's not always the fact that they do make errors. You can still have a perfect claim and the VA rater can still jack that shit up. So keep that in mind. But if you have all your ducks in a row, all your documentation in a row, everything correct, it makes it difficult for them to mess it up. And then it's just like, hey, sometimes you got to play the game. Just play the game. It was just like, hey, if y'all want to give me back pay, I'm all for it. Because I know I have my documentation. I know I have my evidence. If y'all want to give me a couple thousand down the road, hey, I'm okay with that. I ain't got no problem with it. But at the same time is just the stress factor and the anxiety factor that brings and develops with veterans when that happens. Because a lot of veterans don't understand, like, oh shit, I didn't know this. I didn't know this was the process. I just thought, I filed a disability claim, got it done, came home and I just got my checks at the end. It doesn't work that way. But the problem is that a lot of veterans think and go through the process seeing it that way. And it's just like, look, there's a process to this. There's a process to everything. We were service members. We understand, or we should understand, what the difficulties are. And the thing is just like, people don't understand that. It's just like, there's a lot of stuff. It was like, when you were in service, trust me, when you needed your money, how long did it take finance to fix your shit? But then when you owed money, you got that no pay due, or your check got taken out like this. They didn't even ask questions. They didn't even ask to see or verify, hey, you know what, maybe you do owe this. No, it was literally, they just took your check. You know how many soldiers you had to deal with at times? It was just like no pay due. And you're just like, bro, what? I was like, how is this soldier supposed to live out? They're already getting this extra 10% or 15% raise, which I think is a great thing. I know a lot of people are salty about it. It was just like, bro, why? That's the problem. We got to stop being mad at each other for uplifting each other. It was like, if another veteran or a service member is getting more pay, bro, that means down the road we gonna get more pay. I was just like, that's how you have to start the increase. If they don't get an increase, why would they increase you? I was just like, people have to get that mentality to fix it. It's just like, oh yeah, Social Security. That's one thing I need to figure out myself. I haven't do that. But that's the thing. A lot of the mentality. That's what messes it up with veterans. Same thing with service members. If you are mad at the fact that somebody else is making money, first off, grow the fuck up. Second, you just hindering yourself from making more money down the road. But most people don't look at it that way. It was just like, if we are getting increases, we are getting increases. Any benefit for veterans, whether it's changes or anything that benefit us, it not only benefits you, it benefits any future veterans. It benefits veterans that haven't even thought of joining the military yet. You got kids, some of your kids may want to join the military. Anything that we do now to fight for benefits, to fight for an increase, to fight for better facilities, stuff like that, that is only going to benefit all of us down the road. And that's where we need to start looking at it as veterans. Just like, yeah, they're getting this pay. It's like, oh, junior enlisted. Junior enlisted do all the damn work. How you mad that you supervising, sitting around not doing anything, and the person that's doing all the work, that usually is the one that gets their bodies messed up more, you mad at? And then you have a lot of veterans that'll just be like, oh, well, they didn't do anything. Last I recalled, from private to specialist or corporal or lance corporal, whatever branch you were in, that was where the heavy lifting was doing. You were an NCO, right? You were supervising. You weren't emptying out that Connex. You did that time when you were a junior enlisted. But after that, you became a supervisor. You weren't emptying out connexes. You weren't counting brass. You weren't picking up all that brass. You weren't doing all those things, which as a supervisor, you weren't doing. But then you're mad at somebody else getting a pickup after that. And the thing is, it's just like, that's the mentality. And it's just like, we deal with that. And I've spoken with that a bunch of times. It is just like, us as veterans need to do a better job of assisting each other, helping each other out. Like me, I do this page, but I do this to assist veterans. I don't charge anybody for this. There's no get better plan. There's no sign up for the Veteran Awareness Project at $90 a month or $50 a month to get you free information. Bro, what? All this is free information. I was just like, look, this right here is the bill. And that's what we do here on this channel. We make sure that we are teaching people, but showing them where this information is so that they can use it. Most people have never gone to congress.gov. Most people have never seen this website. Most people don't even know what bills have been passed and whatnot, where there's actually 25 current bills that within the past 2 months have been proposed through the Veteran Affairs Committees. Most veterans don't know that. They just signed the Elizabeth Dole Act, which basically helps veterans even more. The biggest one that I've been seeing a lot of gripes for is this one right here. Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024. This is the one that most people... Well, I'm not going to say it as most people. I'm going to say it as a lot of these companies or a lot of these channels are the ones that are going into it and are saying, oh my God, they're going to take away the DBQs. They're going to get rid of the DBQs and this and that. And people, what they fail to realize is just like, I saw this on another channel and I commented on her channel also. A lot of these channels are scared of the fact that they cannot provide DBQs because they had a service for that. Notice how a lot of them have their own medical doctors that fill out nexus letters or fill out DBQs. Now, if you remove the ability for these companies or these entities to prey and, take advantage of veterans, saying, hey, we will give you a DBQ for X amount of dollars. Now it's like, hey, the VA is going to decide this is a facility within us or somebody contracted through us that they can fill this out. Why? Because a lot of veterans want to act the fool and don't want to make it seem like they're not going through the system. But then they complain about it. You got to remember, all these veterans are filing disability claims, right? All of y'all got the same fucking doctor. Your same doctor diagnosed you with so many damn things, and they did the same for everybody else. If they're filling out a DBQ, which they are filling it out for everybody else, it starts to become kind of questionable. So when it comes to the VA, it's like, hey, you got a lot of veterans that are filling out this document from the same doctor that lives halfway across the country from them and giving them the same information. Question is, I had sleep apnea, anxiety, acute, and never received benefits. You should always start. There's never there's no hesitation for filing a disability claim. What you're going to do is make sure you're putting everything together. Put your documentation together. Get diagnosis. Get all the stuff you need. Get DBQs, nexus letters. Put all that stuff together and put it so that you can start preparing to file a claim. There is no time limit as to when you can file a disability claim. There is the intent to file date, which that would be your effective date. That when you submit that gives you a full year to process, get information, get diagnosis, get documentation, and it sits for you for a whole year. So literally you can file an intent to file date today, which is January 5th of 2025, and you have till January 5th of 2026 to provide any of those claims within that. So that's what you want to do. And yes, they pray for the DBQs because you know why? The thing is look, that's why I have the Veteran Awareness Project website, which give me a second. We'll bring this up. This is our official website. This is the official website. Has everything here. And look, you go to resources. It gives you VA forms, disability benefit questionnaires, which is what we're speaking on right now. And it gives you government representation. So within this, you could just click here, disability benefit questionnaires, and I have every single DBQ available for you to download. No questions asked. I don't care who you're gonna have it filled out with. There's no charge to it. It's literally you going to the website. It's like, you know what? I got a musculoskeletal DBQ I need. Click on that, and it takes you to musculoskeletal. And then you just go down, and it gives you all the different ones that you can fill out. Simple service. You don't got to look for anything. You don't got to go crazy trying to do crazy searches. It's just you just tune in, go to the website, click, and check. Now, with this change, what a lot of people fail to see is, like I said, a lot of companies are taking advantage of veterans because of this. Because you know why? A DBQ can be filled out perfectly. You can have a perfect DBQ. Perfect. But it's an outdated form. Your whole claim can be denied because you had the outdated form. And I have that on here and I have it updated. I check once a month, basically just to check over to see if anything has been updated. So now I can update the website to make sure people are getting the correct updated form. But your whole claim can be denied because you submitted the wrong dated form. Everything else is perfectly fine. Signature's fine. Diagnosis is fine. Your documentation is fine. Everything you have used is perfectly fine. And then all of a sudden it was the 2023 PDF you filled out instead of the 2024. And now your shit just got kicked back. A lot of these claim agencies or a lot of these claim sharks don't tell you that. Because the crazy part is that all this information is free. But most of these companies, how do they make money? They make money off of your back pay. It's not off of what you got increased to. It's off of back pay. So if I know I get your, like, let's just say you come to me and I know you have your disability stuff. You have everything. You got everything. Man, this guy's good to go. He got all the stuff I need. Now, all I need to do is I can file this, but I'm going to file it on the wrong DBQ on purpose. You won't know any better. Why? Because you didn't know the process. You didn't know that the DBQ existed. Now you have that DBQ submitted, and now all of a sudden it gets denied. And then you start losing your shit like most veterans do. Like, yo, I had everything. I had this. It was service connected. I have my treatment records. I have it showing when this happened in service, and I still got denied. And then it was just because the form was outdated. Now you got to go through the appeal process. The appeal process, you already know, is not going to be a quick turnaround where next day is just like, oh, you got your shit. No, it's going to be a process. Now you are in the process of going through the appeals process to get this done. And then at that same time, every single month that goes by, that claim agency or that entity is making more money off of you that you would have not had to pay them. Maybe if you just tuned into this channel or you tuned into other channels, because there's other channels that try to assist veterans also. But it's kind of hard for me to listen to some of these channels because I look at it and it's just like, man, everything is a cost for free information. This is free information. This is here. The other one that I show people, Code of Federal Regulations, Schedule of Ratings for Disabilities. This is completely free, y'all. This is a completely free document. And it gives you everything you need. And you go through it and it explains the musculoskeletal system, the organs, especially, basically everything that I provided you here on the website that has the DBQ, you have it all there. And these are all the DBQs available. That's all there. That's all stuff you have there. It's just finding it, knowing that it's available to you. But like I said, with this is just like the Secretary of the VA is now going to determine if certain DBQs are acceptable. And everybody is freaking out about it. Like, oh man, they're just getting rid of DBQs. They are not getting rid of all the DBQs. They are getting rid of specific ones that it seems people are taking advantage of. Not that they're using to actually help a system, but I can assist if anyone asks you about burial worked for. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate that. Just like, hey, if you tune in, you'll become a resource on this channel too. It was just like, start your own channel. We'll do joint channel stuff. That was just like, that's the thing, is working together with veterans. And that's what I want to do, is work with veterans. Like, hey, if you have knowledge in something, let's get together, set something up so we can have conversations on this to educate veterans. It's not to try to scheme veterans. It's not to try to take money. Because trust me, for the stuff I've helped and the stuff I teach people, I could charge a good amount of money for this, because I've gotten plenty of people to 100% P&T, and that's without any extra shit. The amount of friends I've gotten to 100% P&T, and I didn't charge them. I just told them, like, look, this is what you got. Let me know what you got. Let me know what you're dealing with. Do this, do this, do this, do that. They file, boom, first time goes. I could be charging the hell out of people for that, but why when it's free information? This is information that's out there. I'm not here to scheme people. I'm not here to fraud the system. I'm here to educate you on how you can benefit yourself, which is not only the compensation, because that's where a lot of veterans just fail to realize also. A lot of this stuff leads to different things. You got medical assistance, you have compensation, you have the VRE program, you have the VA loan program, you got the yellow ribbon program for certain schools if they're more expensive. Like all these little instances, property taxes being deducted, not paying for your license, getting all the stuff. These are influential stuff that comes into it that you can use and benefit as a veteran. But most veterans just get stuck at the fact that it's just like, oh, I could get 100% disability and that's it. They just leave it at that. They don't pay attention to all the other possible benefits that are available. That's not even counting your own state, because each state is not created equally. Some states benefit you more than others. State of Texas, great for veterans. no property tax, no retirement tax. If you left out of Texas and you go to school, you don't have to even pay for school because you go to school for free. That's not even counting having your GI Bill on top of that and then having the VRE on top of that. That's just money you're making, and you're not scheming the system. You're just using the benefits you earned as a veteran and getting them and taking advantage of them. That's it. There's no scheme in the system, but there's too many veterans that try to scheme the system. And that's why I see that stuff like this is what they're trying to do. Because what a lot of people fail to realize is that last year, well, 2024, we had the issue where you had the American Legion and the Veteran of Foreign Wars go up against one of these channels that's on YouTube. I believe it's the VA Claims Insider, where they went against them because they were preying and taking advantage of veterans. And they're not the only ones that do that. There's other channels and there's multiple entities that do the same thing. It was just like, hey, you pay us a flat fee and we'll help you with this. Like, I understand this is, like I said, this is time consuming. This does take time out of my day. But at the same time, if somebody wants to donate, if somebody wants to support this channel, they can become a member. It's $1 a month. If you end up with 100% PNT and you becoming a member for $1 a month, $1, I don't even get the full dollar. I only get 70 cents out of it. It's a 70-30 split. Or you can go to the website and there's a donation page on there. You could donate through there. That's how you support this channel. But I'm not charging you a fee. I'm not asking for that. This is just information that's out there that just needs to be taught to veterans. It just needs to be highlighted, needs to be showcased. These are instances of stuff that's there that people don't know. See, it was like report on this. This is a part that people missed out on. So I want to read this one. Report on supporting governmental veteran service officers who prepare, present, and prosecute benefits claims before Department of Veteran Affairs. See, look at that. Yo, Chris, thank you, my man. With the $20 donation, my man just got approved for 100% PNT. I see that's the feel good part about it. That's the feel good part about it when you do these streams, is knowing that you are assisting people and people are getting help. I didn't charge this person anything. Chris, I'm so happy to hear that you made it to 100% PNT. I was just like, you don't have to. This is something that is just like knowledge. It's just like, why are we withholding knowledge from other veterans? I was just like, now Chris can take care of himself. Now he has the compensation to do it. Now this opens up different programs and different options for him and his family. I don't see why I would have to try to get you to do so. No, this is something that, hey, has benefited people and is just information. It's free information. It's just, you got to do the work for it. You got to do the research. You got to look into it. You are your best advocate. You know your information and you know your stuff better than anybody else does. Nobody else knows what you're going through. Nobody else knows the back pain. Nobody else knows what you're dealing with. Nobody else knows how it affects your day. Nobody else, or most people, don't even talk about how it affects their families. This isn't a one person thing. It was just like one issue affects the rest of your family, but it's also taking care of your family, preparing your family, and giving them the opportunity to be successful off of the sacrifices that you made as a veteran. And that's what it's all about. And Chris, I'm so excited for you, man. So excited for you. And it's just like, that's what it is. It's just like, you can find all this information. All this is available to you. This stuff that I'm showing here is available. I was just like reporting on reporting. Why? Because the VA and Congress is now trying to make it a bigger thing. Like, hey, we need to figure out what is going on and we need to figure out how to assist our VSOs. Yeah, documentation and evidence is the key. Like I said, once you have the stuff to do that, there you go. See, look, another one. Just finished my MEB process and I'm 100% PNT. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's getting this information out to veterans and helping them with their benefits. Because the thing is just getting to 100% PNT is not the end road. That's not where it ends. That's where it starts. Because now you got to file for Chant VA, secondary insurance that helps with your family. Basically, your family may not have any medical bills going forward because if you got a primary insurance, that primary insurance is going to cover what it covers. Now you got Chant VA on top of it, which can cover the secondary half. And you may not pay anything out of pocket now. Now your family may be, I wouldn't say medically, billed free, but it's still a lessening burden on that veteran. You're 100% PNT. The VA notices that you have an issue that is not going to get better. And then also some people need to go and file for Social Security. That's another one. That's one thing I need to educate myself on because I haven't done that one. Because it's not the same criteria to file for SSI and 100% PNT. But that's one I have to educate myself on so we can have videos and stuff like that. But I want to try for SMC. Go for it. Just with SMC is just you have to find out the criteria and the stuff for it. That one I am not very well versed at because there's too many levels and there's certain criteria for it. And it still goes through the same process, still the evaluation, and you still go through depending, because like I said, if you go through here, I got the 8 in attendance one, but that's just a form to fill out what it is you're doing. So that's one thing to keep in mind when it comes to that one. But the report submitted under section shall include the following: an assessment of the feasibility, advisability, and current technical limitations of providing covered governmental veteran service officers enhanced access to certain department systems to better serve veterans those governmental service officers may not have authorization to represent. So with this is the one thing here that what they are trying to do is that they are trying to eliminate some of these claim agencies. They are trying to get rid of some of these entities by limiting them. Because the thing is like I said, I'm sorry to a lot of veterans. I was just like, look, we all deal with certain things, but the influx of shit going on happens from certain veterans just claiming everything. Everybody goes to the same doctor and the same doctor diagnoses you with the same shit that he diagnosed the last 10 people with. It starts looking questionable. It starts looking like, hey, people are trying to take advantage of the system. If everybody goes to the same doctor across the country and they all get the same nexus letter and they all get the same DBQ filled out from it, this is why entities are doing that. Because the thing is like I said, if you have a clear and cut disability filing claim and you have everything good to go and you have it correct and it's done, but you filled it out on the wrong DBQ form, your whole shit gets thrown out. Now you go through the appeal process. Now you got to wait a couple of months or maybe years, depending on how long that takes for them to verify that one mistake, which was that the form was wrong. But that company is making money off of you because of the fact that it is now going through your back pay and not going through what you actually got increased. So now, the government sees that and the government is saying, you know what? This is something that veterans are being taken advantage of because they are submitting these forms. Because the thing is with a nexus letter is a nexus letter. You notice how they didn't try to make any changes for nexus letters. Because a nexus letter still has to be written by a medical professional. It still has to tie into it. You still have to diagnose them. Yes, I was going to touch on that too, Amos. I just wanted to cover this one first because I know this is one of the big topics that I've seen a lot of channels covering. And most of the ones that are concerned about this are the ones that take advantage or have a system or a program that says, hey, Go through my channel and we have our medical experts and stuff like that that can get you a Nexus letter or a DBQ. That's why a lot of these channels are concerned, because that's going to cut into their revenue. The fact that, hey, they're not going to be able to file some of these DBQs, but you got to remember, not all the DBQs are being removed. It will be certain ones. And most likely, what I wouldn't be surprised if they do is that they eliminate the ones that everybody wants to fill out. The ones that all these agencies make sure to fill out, I can promise you, well, I'm not going to promise you, but most likely they're not. You know how the Nexus letter says? Got to put that in there. Those will be the DBQs that most likely will be removed. And leave it for those DBQs that are the ones that are, the ones that aren't used as much, the ones that are more specific, like, go to the top here. Just like you have all of these and they have them for all these specific things, but musculoskeletal stuff may be removed. Psychological stuff, unless because you got to get evaluated by mental health by the VA anyway. They might want to remove that. But at the same time, what people fail to realize is if you have your Nexus letter and you have your documentation, it will be the orthopedics. Oh, okay. I did not know that. See, so the orthopedics. So it's like certain stuff will be removed. And now it's going to be on the VA to make sure, like, hey, this is who is going to do it. We are going to manage these. The rest, yeah, anybody else can fill them out. But at the same time, if you can get a DBQ filled out, that means you can get a Nexus letter filled out. But at the same time, if you're just trying to combine stuff, because you got to remember, everybody loves their secondaries. It's the primary. And with me personally, I think people just need to make sure, hey, what we're doing is make sure you get service connected. Make sure you get service connected. Could Trump stop funding? No, that's not going to happen. They're not going to. That's the other thing. A lot of people are just concerned with, yes, there may be changes with funding and stuff like that. There's going to be changes with funding, but this also goes into those changes. Gabriel, morning. This goes into funding. This changes funding here. That's what people need to understand. Because the thing is they want to report on from the VSOs. They want to know what the VSOs need to be better VSOs so that veterans can stop using these outside agencies. Because remember, like I said, if you go and you file your disability claim and it takes you 2 years, 2 years of back pay, let's say you started at 10% or something, and they get you to 100%. Great. Don't get me wrong. That's great. But that's a 90% difference times whatever amount of time it took for them to get you there. Now you taking 25% of that. You know how many thousands of dollars that may be that you lost out on because you had to pay somebody for something that you could have done on your own? From the Rio Grande Valley, deep South Texas. Hey, I hope everybody's staying warm too, man. We got a crazy snow. I got crazy snow coming down right now. Hoping everybody's staying warm, staying comfortable. Don't go outside unless you really, really need to, because this weather right now, if this goes out, I lost power. Let's just put it like that. If this goes out, I lost power. But yeah, that's what it is with this one. Now, the other one I touched on, give me a second. We're gonna talk about the GI Bill changes. Give me 1 second so I can find the video I posted on this, because I have the link in there. Because I actually got this on an email. So this is what I received. So now we're switching over to the information about. Question was, does every veteran get VA benefits? Every veteran is entitled to VA benefits. Now, the different benefits, it depends, because there's a broad spectrum of benefits. There's educational benefits. There's medical benefits. There's property tax exemption benefits. There's license plates, automobile allowances, clothing allowances, depending on what it reminds me of time of Syracuse for. So somebody said, "Why is everybody going for 100%? Many claims are legit, but some are scamming." I was just like, look, this is how I feel about when it comes to it. When it comes to veteran affairs and veterans filing for disability claims, a lot of us have claims that are legit. The issue is that a lot of people just go onto these other channels and stuff like that. Or just like file for this, and it gets you to 100%. People read that. People watch those videos. Those are the heavily watched videos, if you notice, on these channels. My videos don't get as much stuff, and I'm the one that's actually giving you information that's directly from a source and trying to educate you on it. I ain't trying to scheme. So if I started trying to scheme, I could make probably a lot more money just off videos. But at the same time, there's a lot of veterans that are filing this, but they see those videos that is just like, hey, you know what? I got tinnitus. Now, from tinnitus, that turned into migraines. Now, my migraines turned into insomnia. Now, migraines led to my sleep apnea and stuff like that. That's how that stuff continues. And that's when it becomes the, hey, don't poke the bear thing. Because the thing is one person tries to file a disability claim and then they try to connect like 8 different secondaries. What they fail to realize is like, yes, you have a chance of losing those benefits due to the fact that you are placing all your eggs in one basket. Now, let's say they figure out something for tinnitus. Let's say they have a hearing aid that clears your ear or fixes your ear or whatever the case may be. If your tinnitus is better, that means your migraine ain't as bad. That means your insomnia isn't as bad. That means your sleep apnea isn't as bad. So now you just went from having everything connected to that and you lose out on that. A lot of veterans do that. They try to file for everything. And then when you have certain entities in these companies that'll just be like, you know what? Sign up through our program and we will help you file. You can go through our medical professionals and we'll get you a nexus letter. We'll write you that DBQ and we'll do all these diagnoses and all that stuff. And it's just like, it's tempting. But at the same time, there's other benefits that people could take advantage of that they don't. I was just like, look at the fact that it's just like, look, right now you can be collecting your disability compensation at whatever percentage you're at. You could be using the VRE, the Veterans Readiness and Employment Program, which is basically like a secondary GI Bill. You can go to school or become a business owner or have there's 5 different tracks that you can use that benefit you to use that you can use there. And that's giving you a stipend monthly. Then you got the GI Bill. The GI Bill is now 48 months instead of 36 months. It has now been updated to 48 months. So for a lot of veterans, if your ass ain't in school, head to school. Go to school. Don't got to be something crazy. Don't got to be something out of this world. Go to school. Learn a different trade. Learn something that you... Remember when you always said, you know what, when you were growing up, I always wanted to learn how to do this. Go for it. The VA gonna pay for it. Why the hell not? You wanted to become an electrician. Go learn how to be an electrician. You wanted to get into accounting, but you never had the time to do it because you were in the service and stuff. Go become an accountant. You want to be an HVAC specialist because you know why right now? You building or you into real estate and you want to make sure that your housing and your HVAC systems and the houses you're purchasing and stuff like that are good to go. There's no age limit, Gabriel. You can be 67. Look, I'll tell you this much. I am going to be graduating with my master's degree in May. When I did my commencement thing for like the classes and stuff like that, there was a 74-year-old man sitting all the way up top in the back. Talk about, I'm going back to school for what was it that he said? I think it was like computer science or some shit. And I'm like, bro, what? Hey, look, sonogram specialist. Something simple. You can become a X-ray tech. What kind of education benefits are available for veterans that are 100% PNT? Chris, what you want to make sure you're looking at is, hold on, let's highlight this. So this is the question. What kind of education benefits are available for veterans that are 100% PNT? So with that, you got to keep in mind you have the DEA, which if you have a family, is the Dependent Education Assistance Program. So if you have family that are, college age, or even if your spouse wants to go, they can receive a monthly stipend, which is right now currently at $1,500 when they are fully enrolled into a school. So they will receive a $1,500 tax-free check every month while they're enrolled in school. Same thing, and you can have that with your wife, your spouse, your kids, all at the same time, and do that. What you also need to look into when it comes to education benefits is also your state. Because certain states, like I said, not created equal, but certain states have different opportunities for veterans because they're 100% PNT. Some of it is for dependents. Some of it is for the veterans. Some of it is just information that is just like, hey, you go to one of our schools, you don't pay for anything because you're 100% PNT and you came from the state. So each state has it differently. But most of the biggest things is like the GI Bill, you've earned that already. But the DEA benefits, that's something you can use. The VRE program, you can use that regardless. You don't have to be 100% PNT. That's something you can use also. But the biggest thing when it comes to the education programs is your state. Your state can provide you so many more resources because it's the state deciding, you know what, we're going to help this service member out. The federal is going to cover everything. Yo, Cam, Happy New Year to you too, my man. But that's something that people need to realize. That's the information that needs to be put out there. And that'll be something that on the website we're gonna add this to the resources. This resources tab is like if you click on it. Hold on, let me remove this real quick. So there's the resources tab on the page, resources. It has the VA forms, the DBQs, veteran organizations. That's something I'm working on to make sure that people are aware of all the different organizations. State benefits. This one is going to take me a while because it's going to be literally filling out all the information for that. So whatever state you're from, you'll have the information to go and see, okay, I'm from Texas. What does Texas provide me? Okay, Texas provides me this, and that. Veteran affairs links, the congressional representation. It's literally, you want to know who your senators are? You want to know who your representatives are? Here you go. I got their website. I got their contact information. I have their Facebook channels, and I got all their Twitters. So literally, if you are looking for somebody that represents you in your state, this is a reason and an easy way to contact them. When you need to send them, you want to send them an email, it's just like, hey, why is this being changed? Or why are y'all proposing this or something like that? And they're part of your state. There you go. You can reach out to them now and just have it that way, because that's a lot of the changes. This bill here, Senator John Tester from Montana. And go over here, Senator John Tester from Montana. I said that funny, my bad. But you go there, click on it, link. Takes a bit to load, but let me see. Hopefully my link is working. If it's not, I need to go back and fix it. It's taking so long to load though. But it will take you to his website. Let's see. Now my internet is fried right now. Well, that's a shame. I got to work on that. Okay. I got to work on the links because it's not going as smoothly as I thought. It should have just loaded up correctly, but it's a website. We'll work on it. Yeah. Y'all can go in there and start testing and clicking on stuff, and stuff doesn't work, let me know so I can get on it to fix it too. But that's something that's there for veterans to use. Like, hey, you have congressional anything that has to be spoken about or information you want to know. That's how you reach out to them. That's how you get that information. What else? Let's see. I don't think I can handle full-time school. You know, that's the thing. You got to remember, you don't have to go full-time for school. You can go and take certain hours. A full-time school, that would be like 4 hours of school. Four classes. You don't have to take that. The GI Bill is the GI Bill. The GI Bill is going to cover you. The VRE program is going to cover you. The VRE is there also because remember, you are a disabled veteran. They understand you can't gain employment the regular way. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to facilitate obtaining a better job or a better skill that adheres and, corresponds to what your disabilities are, and you being able to still be gainfully employed. So that's how you got to look at it. It's not, hey, I need to force myself to do this. It's like, hey, what can I do to slowly implement or slowly increase how I can do this or learn about this to get a job in doing it if that's what I want to do? Can a veteran get a higher rating on an injury that has already been rated? So question is can a veteran get a higher rating on an injury that has already been rated? So when you mean rated, I'm assuming you're going to say it's service connected already. If it is already service connected, then yes, you can file for an increase. What you're doing is when you're filing for an increase, this is where you have to make sure to check what it is. Whatever your disability is, whatever the rating is that you have on it, this is where you have to check. Go into it and basically check what it is you have. So let's say it's a musculoskeletal issue. You can go and check it. From here, what you have to make sure you are doing is that you have to find what your claim is. What your issue is that's already service connected. Then it's looking at the numbers. See, with this, it's ankylosis. It's a different one. But for each one, there's a specific thing. What you're trying to do is that you have to see that if filing for an increase with that ailment falls under the justification for the CFR. Because the thing is you may have like certain, not every issue, not every disability claim, not every rating can get you 100% or get you a higher claim. Once you file for certain things, that's the max you can get. So like in the case of, let's say migraines, the highest rating you can get is 50. Unless it's 100, and that's not good at all. That's more stuff. But it was just like, where can you find that info? Hold on, let me see if I just did this. See if that works. Did it work? Did it send it? No, it did not. Man. I got to work on the buttons because I have buttons that are supposed to do that, but it's not doing that. Okay. So here's the link. I'll put this in the chat. Here's the link to the Code of Federal Regulations. You can click on that. And basically from there, that's the document that is basically the CFR Title 38, Chapter 1, Part 4, which is a schedule of ratings. This is where you go to see what your ratings are. This is where you can see what you got diagnosed with, what information is there, what pertains to it. Now, from here, once you find what it is you've already been rated for, you are going to see what other percentages there are for it. Then from there, you have to see, do you fit those increases? In the case of mental health, which is no problem. Mental health disorders, it's clear cut that these are the ratings. It's 100, 0 to 10, to 100 basically. So now when you have that, it's just like, hey, you may be at a 30. So right now you might be at 30%, which is basically occupational and social impairment with occasional decrease in work efficiency and intermittent periods of inability to perform occupational tasks. Now, if you're going to file for an increase on mental health, you would go and see level 50. What's the difference between these? Do I fit that criteria? Is the changes affecting me that much that I warrant being leveled up. Because you got to remember also, when you get your ratings document, it'll tell you why you were at this rating and why you weren't put at the next one. If it's worsened or stuff like that, this is basically, I don't like to say a cheat sheet, but it's basically a cheat sheet that lets you know and lets you be aware of, hey, I'm at this percentage. This is the percentage I'm at. This is where I need to get to. This is how I'm able to see where I'm at, basically, is the best way of putting it. And that's what you want to do, and that's how you want to look at it. Whenever it comes to filing for increases, which is the bigger thing that most people fail to do, a lot of people just want to make sure to connect all these extra issues, all these extra items that are being added on. And people forget to realize, if you're already service connected and stuff, you can file for increases to things that are worsening. You don't need a nexus letter for that. You already have it service connected. The VA has already acknowledged that this is something that was caused by service. Now, if it's getting worse, it's you filing for that increase to increase. Like, you know what? Okay, this person has gotten worse. This issue is progressively getting worse. According to the CFR, he now falls under that 40% rate instead of the 30% rate. So that can be a 10% increase. And you got to remember, as we get older, our bodies ain't getting any younger. Our bodies are becoming more fragile. So more issues can develop down the road, and you can file for increases like that. And that's without even worry about secondaries. You can boost up your claim with increases first and then worry about the secondaries. Because the increases are easier for them to justify, because it's like, we already know you hurt. We already gave you a rating. Now it's, okay, this has gotten worse. Here's a quick increase. It's not going to take as long. Now, you still go through the problems where you may get denied. You may get issues with it. But like I said, if you have documentation showing that it's gotten worse, you can have your medical evidence, your physical therapy, your whatever the case may be, showing that it's gotten worse. And when you go and do that C&P exam and they go to examine it and your range of motion is lessened or these issues have arisen, that helps show that. And now you get an increase. You didn't have to go through anything crazy because you already have your information. And especially if you're already going to be seen through the VA probably has that noted. And then you can just get your C file, get your medical information and documentation that you've gotten through the VA, and that can help clarify, like, look, it's gotten worse. File for an increase, and that's it. And then it's not the extra stuff. It's not as many steps. It's still something you got to get through, but it's not as many steps to obtain doing that. So, okay, so this is the education service and GI Bill programs. This came from an email I received directly from the VBA, Veterans Benefits Administration. Remember, there's two. There's the Veterans Health Administration, the VHA. Then there's the Veterans Benefits Association, the VBA. Two different things. Still part of the VA, but they handle two different entities. Since I'm currently in school, like I said, we're going to graduate with our master's degree in May. I received this email, which I found it surprising. I was just like, what the hell is it? I was just like, when they said education, the VA has updated its process to award GI Bill benefits. I'm like, shit, what did they take away? That was the first thing. It was like the VA contacted me. What did I lose? What do I have to refile? That's always like the dreaded thing dealing with the military. It's just like, man, y'all contacted me. This can't be good. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Roberto, thank you. But this is basically, we're just going to read this over. It's plain and simple, but this is an email that if you are currently enrolled in school and are using the GI Bill, you should have received this through email, whether you have an email with the VBA or you've subscribed to them, whatever the case may be. This is what you want to have, and this is where you probably received. If not, this has been put out on different pages and different places, just basically to make sure to give this information out to veterans, for veterans to make sure to understand this. So it's benefited GI Bill benefits, which means that many veterans who served multiple periods of military service, for example, veterans who reenlisted, will be eligible for an additional year of benefits for themselves or their beneficiaries. Okay. So basically what it's, let's just going over that is, hey, we are changing the way we are giving out the GI Bill. If you reenlisted while in service, meaning more likely than not you did more than one contract, we are extending and giving you an extra year of benefits. Because remember, the GI Bill is only 36 months, 36 months worth of time. Now it's 48, which would give it it is now a whole year more, 4 years, because most bachelors is 4 years. But you got to remember, when you're doing it, when you're in school, it is not taking it as consecutively. Yo, Roberto, thank you for becoming a member on the channel. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's not 36 months, because you got to remember, when you're in school, you are not in school literally every month of the year. So like right now, middle of December, took my finals. Middle of January, I start up school again. That's a whole month that you are not in school. That does not count towards your GI Bill being taken away. Now, when I start in January and I go all the way to May, I'll be in school, and those months will count towards the GI Bill. But then summer and all that stuff, I'm gonna still be left over. So it's 36 months worth of it, but you are not in school for 36 months completely. Now it's gonna be 48 months, which extends your time, which for most service members, most veterans, you should be able to do a 4-year degree with no problem and probably still have something left over. But keep in mind, you don't want to do that. You want to use the VRE program first. Oh, Chris, if you're still in here, 100% P&T. If you have loans, if you have school loans, and you are planning to go back to school, you can defer them. If you are become 100% P&T first school, Roberto with the 10 jewels, appreciate you. That's the first thing I think that's the first jewels I've ever gotten. That's, I know they were talking about it. That's the first time I've ever gotten. Appreciate you, Roberto, and appreciate you joining in as a member. So that's one thing to keep in mind there. Damn, I lost my train of thought. She threw me off with the jewels. Oh yeah, for Chris. Once you become 100% P&T, your school loans get removed. They get forgiven. So if you don't want that to happen, and most people probably be like, why the hell wouldn't I want my school loans removed? I don't like working the system, but sometimes you got to work the system. If you are currently a veteran right now that has just become 100% P&T and you have school loans, you can have these school loans, but you still plan on going to school. You can have those school loans deferred. So your forgiveness for becoming 100% P&T, you can have that deferred for a later date. What that means is like, let's say you have already 3 years worth of college loans and you just need that last year to complete your bachelor's or your master's, whatever the case may be. You can now go to school, take out school loans again to pay for that last year of school. So take out school loans, do all that, finish your bachelor's degree. Boom, finish your bachelor's degree. Now you have that forgiveness. You can use that forgiveness and now you can get rid of your school loans. So you just finished your bachelor's degree or your master's degree on that last year, taking out school loans, but all that is forgiven because you took care of that. Now, if you go and use the VRE program, you can go and get for an employment track, which is a long-term employment track, like being a sonogram tech or being a IT tech, cybersecurity, or learning, like I said, anything you want to learn and you go to school for it and you get a degree for it. Now the VRE, Veterans Readiness and Employment, which was the vocational rehabilitation program, just got renamed. Now you're using that and you're still getting basically a BAH, which is a stipend monthly for being in school, being enrolled, and that leads you towards a degree towards your job. Now that you got your second bachelor's degree, you know what? I want to go for my master's. Now you still got your GI Bill that you haven't even touched. And now the GI Bill is 48 months. So you can get two masters. You can get a master's degree for each one of those bachelors that you just got. And you're collecting BH the whole time while you're doing it. It's just the ability to use resources that are available to you, benefits that are yours to use. You earn them, use them. If you just made yourself have income for the next 6 years, tax free. Don't get me wrong. This is not something to like live off of. But at the end of the day, extra BAH that you weren't receiving on top of your disability claims, which is tax free, that's still a check that you're going to be earning every month. And depending on what school you at, you're 100% PNT. How do you get your school loan? So you have to contact I forget what the entity is. You can do the school loans. You get them deferred. You have to contact your school agency. So the whoever is servicing your loans, you have to contact them, because once you become 100% PNT, it is like an automatic thing that they do. So you have to contact them in order for it to be deferred, because otherwise to them, you are going to get your loans forgiven because you became 100% PNT. They see it as, look, you served this country, you are 100% PNT. We know you're not going to be working as much as you can because of the fact that you have all these disabilities, and the VA recognizes that and the military recognizes that. So do it this way. So you can defer, but you have to reach out to them so that way they can defer it. Something like that. I can't remember. I think it's Nelnet. It may be Nelnet. But you have to contact them as soon as you can to let them know, like, hey, you would like to have your school loans deferred. Because the thing is it takes some time. Because basically, once you become 100% PNT, the VA ends up sending that information, or they end up searching that information and realizing, oh, this service member is 100% PNT. We're going to go and cancel all this stuff. Mine's got canceled. I was happy. I was using the GI Bill now, which is what I'm using. But another thing with that, 100% permanent in total. That's what the PNT stands for. Yeah, I know. I'm one that likes to complain about acronyms too, but throw them out there. Tomorrow moment, I work as a peer support for Volunteers of America nonprofit to keep my veterans informed. Roberto, there's tons of entities. Like I'm here. I try to just answer questions as best I can as they come up. Veterans ask. I try to give them information. And I try to show them where it is on a legit site, on the VA.gov site and stuff like that. But it's a lot of information on there. There's a lot of info out in the internet. There's the VA. Look, VA.gov is a great site, but that shit is overwhelming. It has way too much information in way too many locations where you can never find exactly what the hell you need without clicking for like 8 days. So it's overwhelming, but that's why I say like that. Like I said, with this, like I said, you get your stuff. You can get your stuff deferred. You can get your loans deferred. And then you can still go to school. You go to school and you still do it that way. Like I said, you use the VRE program. You use your GI Bill. That's almost like 6, 7, 8 years of school that you can do, or more if you become 100% PNT and you defer those school loans. Literally, you can just go to school and pay for it through loans, and then have the deferment wait till after you complete that. Have your loans wiped out. Now you just got that degree. You got the VRE, which is get you a second degree. And you got the GI Bill, which can get you a third degree. Now you going into the workforce, no matter how long you've been in the service or how long you've been out, and you can go and get this, and now you obtain yourself and you are a better marketable employee. You may not have all the experience, but at the same time, how many people go into it and say, you know what? I got 3 degrees and I'm applying for this job. You're an RN. I would like to be a nurse practitioner. If you are a veteran, Miss Davis, what you want to do is you want to reach out to the the VRE program, the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, and you want to reach out to them and talk to a counselor and see what it is. Because you're already in the field, but the thing is this is also to help benefit you and enhance your capabilities. So if you are going to be a better capable veteran because you get a degree now in that same field, that makes you more, exclusive. So that's something that the VRE will help you with. But you have to go through that program, and they have questions and certain specifications that you have to meet in order to do that. So that's something you want to go through them to find the viable information. But yeah, that's information that's there. And like I said, check out the website as we keep going. This website is going to keep on being updated. It's keep on growing. It's going to be more information on there, like the state benefits and stuff like that. And as you do that, it's just vetawarenessproject.com. I'll put this in the thing too. That's the link to the website. Check it out. Let me know what you see in there. See whatever information you need, and what benefits you and what you can help, and what I can do to make the site better, or information that I need to work on. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be implemented into it. It's time consuming. I got school, I got family, so I'm working on it as best I can. If you are 70% service connected, Roberto, your kids go to school, but that depends on your state. So your state may have some beneficial things for them. When you reach 100%, that's when you can file for the DEA benefits, which is the Dependents Education Assistance benefits. And though that's where your kids would be able to receive a monthly stipend while they are enrolled in school. But that would mean that they have to file for the DEA program through the institution they are attending. So basically through their finance or through their registrar, they would have to go and let them know, hey, I am going to be using chapter 35 benefits. 35, yeah. 35. I'll be using chapter 35 benefits for my kids. So my kids will fill it out. They will do that. And that information then gets submitted to the VA, so that the VA recognizes, oh, okay, Roberto Gonzalez's kids, he's 100% PNT. They are filing for this. Now, when they are enrolled in school, they'll ask for verification and enrollment status and stuff like that. They will send that stipend to your kid. So your kid, if they are enrolled full time, it would be $1,523 right now. I don't want to be specific on the 23, but I think that's what it is. Like, it's definitely $1,500. And then when you go down to 3/4 of the time, it's about 1,200-ish. Less than 3/4 is like 800. And then if it's below half, it's like 300 something. But then it depends on the cost. So if it's cheaper for the benefit to just pay the school off and pay the tuition, they do that, or they give you the amount depending on what it is. But remember, that program does not pay for school tuition. It is not a GI Bill. This is something that your family members will just get a monthly stipend on top of nothing. Unless they're using a GI Bill that you transfer to them, but this is just a stipend that they are receiving tax-free monthly while they're enrolled in school. This does not pay for tuition. Tuition still has to be paid for, but $1,500 a month can help offset tuition cost. Or, hey, you don't got to worry about providing your kids some like get around money every month if you know they're getting $1,500 a month for them to use. So that's a benefit there also. So, as it says here, you're receiving this message because VA has identified you as being potentially impacted by this new policy. I didn't like that when I heard it. So, the GI Bill is being extended, and that's what I'm about to cover right now, Ms. Davis. So basically, this is what it basically says. And we want you to apply today to determine if you're eligible for additional benefits. Specifically, under the previous policy, eligible veterans who served at least 2 periods of service were forced to choose between the Montgomery GI Bill and the post 9/11 GI Bill for a maximum of 36 months of GI Bill benefits. So it's either one or the other. Because remember, for a lot of people, when they first joined the military, you were paying that $100 a month for 12 months for the Montgomery GI Bill. They still owe me my $1,200. We'll get to that later, but that's there. So it now says under the updated policy, veterans will no longer have to make that choice when they apply for benefits, meaning they can qualify for up to 48 months of GI Bill benefits. And that's one thing that people need to realize also. The Montgomery GI Bill and the post 9/11 GI Bill, 2 different benefits. The Montgomery GI Bill does not pay you a monthly stipend. They basically pay you the money of what the school is charging. They give you that money and you have to make sure to pay it, which I think it causes problems because some people see that money and it's just like, you know what, I should pay for school, but I'm not going, that problem. The post 9/11 GI Bill, that they pay, the school sends the bill to the VA. The VA is like, okay, this is how much you owe. Here's your BAH, which you would get at an E5 with dependence rate. And this is what you get monthly while you're enrolled for school. And you get book stipend, which I believe is about $1,000 per year. Not entirely sure what the number is, but you get that number and they still give you like a book stipend. All this is tax-free money, keep in mind. Okay. Under the updated policy, veterans will no longer have to choose. Many veterans are now eligible for additional retroactive benefits. Specifically, veterans who served at least 2 periods of service. One that qualified them for the Montgomery GI Bill and a second that qualified them for the post 9/11 GI Bill may be eligible to receive 12 months of additional retroactive GI Bill benefits, bringing them to a total of 48 months. What does this mean for beneficiaries? If you previously gave up all or part of your Montgomery GI Bill benefits, you may be entitled to the remaining months of your Montgomery GI Bill benefits up to a maximum of 48 months of combined benefits. If your post 9/11 GI Bill entitlement was limited based on your Montgomery GI Bill usage, you may be entitled to additional months of post 9/11 GI Bill. Basically says no action is needed of you. No, if you have the because there is a restrict. I would check, Gabriel, with that, because the thing is I know there was something changed when it came to the time frame of using the GI Bill. I forget what the stipulation is like the time frame you have to use it. But then this may be informational to you. Extension of date to use benefits. As part of this policy, VA is also extending the expiration dates for using GI Bill benefits for eligible veterans. For each veteran who was forced to choose between Montgomery GI Bill and post 9/11 GI Bill, VA will reinstate the time that they had remaining at the time of their choosing plus 90 days. For example, if a veteran chose to use the post 9/11 GI Bill at a time when they had 5 years left to use the Montgomery GI Bill, they would be giving 5 years plus 90 days to use any additional benefit. So when it comes to that, Gabriel, I would make sure contact the VA and let them know, hey, I'm trying to inquire about my benefits. I'm trying to. Oh, if you're in Texas and you joined the military through Texas, it's called the Hazelwood Act. If you use the Hazelwood Act, you do not pay anything. The Hazelwood Act would not. You don't need to pay. That's why I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find something. Yeah, the Hazelwood Act. The Hazelwood Act is one of those, like I said, that the state of Texas provides. So the state of Texas basically gives you that information. That's just like, hey, if you join the military through the state of Texas and you are coming back to go to school in Texas, you don't pay for it. That's a Texas thing. That is not something that every state does. That is something that Texas does. That's why a lot of people move back to Texas if they came out of there and stuff like that. You need A or B grades for you need a pass, Gabriel. There's no I got a 4.0. Right now I got a 4.0 through this master's degree. But you need to pass. The same way for active duty service members. If you're using tuition assistance, you have to make sure you pass in those classes because they're going to pay for it. But if you fail the classes, you're going to owe that money back in tuition. Yeah. The Hazelwood Act is one of those. That's a big thing. I was just charged from the Navy until those, so it took me a long time to use it. Ms. Davis, all you got to do, like I said, I'm trying to look up to see. I'm trying to look up the education stuff. Okay, so this is what I found real quick. So this is on the va.gov site. GI Bill and other education benefit eligibility. So if you're an active duty service member or a veteran, a member of the National Guard, a qualified survivor, you may be eligible for the GI Bill. So the post 9/11 GI Bill eligibility information. If any of these are true, you may be eligible for benefits through the post 9/11 GI Bill. You served on active duty for at least 90 days after September 10th, 2001, whether continuous, interrupted, or all at once. You served at least 30 consecutive days after September 10th, 2001, and were discharged because of a service-connected disability, or you received a Purple Heart. No, if you only have one period of service that begins on or after August 1st of 2011, and you qualify for other VA education benefits, you can only use one education benefit. You'll have to choose which education benefit you'd like to use. The thing is keep in mind now that this is through the va.gov site, but they have not updated it to reflect what we were just going over. Where'd it go? With this, what we were just talking about. So the va.gov has not updated that yet. So there's probably going to be some changes for eligibility information when it comes to obtaining the benefits. And then it goes to the Montgomery GI Bill eligibility information. Please, can I get other? Trying to see how long. Because it depends. Because it depends when you were there. Because remember, the post 9/11 GI Bill was basically created after 9/11. So if it was done prior to that, you have to see what it is and you have to apply for it. Now, the thing is like I said, now it's looking into it because you got to remember, this is something that's changed. But at the same time, that's where I say that the whole me giving y'all on the website who your congressmen and women are, that's where you use that information. It's like, hey, I'm a service member. I see how this changed. It was just like, this affects me, but I still can't use it. Is there any way to do that? And then you see what it is. Because then you got to remember, us as veterans coming together and putting this into writing and talking about this is what causes these changes. We start reaching out to these people in groups, not just onesies and twosies, but thousands of veterans coming together and saying like, hey, we want to see this change. It's just like, look, I served in the military. My GI Bill should never expire. That's how I feel. Is that how it is? No. But the only way something like that would happen would be is like, hey, we would have to come together as veterans and start talking about these issues and putting that together. So it's just like, okay, you know what? He got a point there. Maybe our shit shouldn't expire. But the only way to do that is just by putting that together. If you don't put that together, you ain't gonna get nowhere with it. So that's something to think about. Because that's post 9/11. If you were using the Montgomery GI Bill, that means you still have it. Let me see something. Because that's the thing. That's the one thing that people, these are things that, are important that people need to use, have to take advantage of. Miss Davis. So the thing is and no problem. What you want to do is if you are not, like, let's say you don't have your GI Bill, or maybe it expired and you can't use it, look into the Veteran Readiness and Employment program. Let's see. So, quick summary. I just looked this up real quick. I still have to do a deeper dive, but this is just like asking real quick. So, if you separated on or after January 1st of 2013, there is no expiration date for using the GI Bill. The Montgomery GI Bill, it says you have to use 10 years after discharge. The post 9/11 GI Bill must be used. It was used within 15 years, but now they changed it as to no expiration on it because of the fact that it was they did the forever GI Bill that they passed to do that. Yeah, if you're so for the VRE, let's get to this. For the VRE, because this is what they call it, so they haven't updated this there. Where is it? Because this is old, and that's the one thing I hate about the VA.gov is that when they do this, the website doesn't see, there we go. So that's the one thing. That's why I decided also to make the website. Because the thing is like when you search for stuff sometimes on VA.gov, it gives you whatever it thinks it is. So VRE to many is still known as the Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Program. It is no longer called that. It is now the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. Still the same letters, just different way of saying it. I used all my post 9/11 GI Bill for 36 months. Now it's 48 per. Yes, it has changed now that it is 48, and they are looking into it. But there's one thing that people need to realize: they put it in there, and that's something that they didn't on here. Where is it? This is where it says deadline to apply. If a beneficiary believes they qualify for additional benefits under the Rudisill decision, they may need to submit a claim to get a new decision on their benefit eligibility by October 1st, 2030. So you have till beneficiary. So anybody that thinks like if you use it all up and you feel like, hey, I fall into this, you have to apply, and they will make sure to look into your account and say, oh, okay, this person, he's supposed to have this for a longer time period. He fits the eligibility to add that extra year. So then that's how you would do it. And that's how people, like I said, this is game changing for veterans. Even if you use your entire GI Bill, if you get a whole extra year, that's at least a year, maybe a certification that you may have needed. Or just learning how to do something else that may benefit you in your job. It's just like, hey, if you into computers and stuff like that, this can get you that extra stuff. If it comes to literally anything you have, an extra year of school can go a long way, especially when it comes now that everything is like, hey, you need credentialing, you need this, you need to be able to stand out. If you get a whole extra year of free school where you can go to a school, you obtain a BAH, which is going to be an extra check that you get on top of it, that's money that's going to help you. Especially now, at times people are struggling and it's been issues. This is something that is going to help veterans, because it's like, hey, I know everybody don't want to go to school, but if you go to school, you can get BAH. So even if you're working, make that little sacrifice to work a couple of, it's going to be tough. You probably haven't been in school in a while, but hey, an extra check can help you a long way. For those extra hours, you're going to be tired, yes, but it's going to be beneficial to you and your family if you can make that extra check that can give you that extra buffer for those couple of months while you're in school. Like I said, the eligibility for a veteran in readiness, all you have to be is at least 10% disability rating. You apply for it. You have to apply for it. They'll contact you. They'll reference you to a counselor. You will talk to the counselor, and then you will go through it and talk about what it is that you need to do, what it is you're trying to accomplish with this program and stuff like that, and you can use it. But this is just basically there. You have the GI Bill. You have the Montgomery GI Bill. Take advantage of it. It's being extended. There's a lot of stuff that's coming down the pipeline that is benefiting veterans. And the big issue is the funding. That's where it's going to be the issue, because we can have all this stuff being developed, but we ain't got the money to pay for it. It makes stuff tough. We were already down, I think it was $6 billion in the hole for VA benefits this year. Going into this year, we were $6 billion in the hole. That makes a big difference. Now, if you start adding all this stuff, it goes a long way. But at the same time, with me doing this and other channels doing this, it helps mitigate the extensive stuff. Stop using these claim agencies when you can just learn the stuff yourself. Come in here, ask a question. So yeah, just ask a question. I'm going to get you an answer. I'm gonna show you where I got the answer. It's not gonna be a thing, and I'm not gonna charge you for it. The thing is, it's just like you gotta lead veterans to do better things, but it's on that veteran. It's on you. You want to increase your rating. You want to take advantage of the fact that you served this country proudly. Take advantage of it. These benefits were created for us for a reason, because it's only 1% of us that decides to join the military in this country. It's only 1% of us that does it. So the least that can happen is just like, hey, like they like to say, thank you for your service. This is how I appreciate the thanks. Here's a benefit that helps you and your family. Because I know while you were in service, you didn't have family time. You were either deployed, you were at work, you were working ridiculous hours. You weren't getting paid overtime. Medical was trash. Just like medical sometimes is trash now, but y'all know what I'm saying. But those are things that those instances come into it. But that's something that's just like, hey, you got the GI Bill. Go use it. You don't have to be 100%. You don't have to be 100% to take advantage of these things. The VRE program, you just got to be 10%. You didn't receive a dishonorable. and you have a service-connected disability rating of at least 10%. Now, I know that if you file for a disability claim and you are a veteran and you file for tinnitus, 10%. Now you can go and get yourself an education. Go get yourself education. Go get yourself something that'll help you stand out, something that'll help you earn, stuff like that. Just something as simple as that. Just using this. But these are those changes that are beneficial. Same thing how we went over the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act. This is there to improve it. Contractors and outside entities are not going to be able to fill out all this stuff. Because like I said, it's kind of hard when you're filling out all this documentation and everybody got the same documentation. If everybody sees the same damn doctor, but that same doctor has diagnosed with everything possible in the CFR, is this really that well versed of a doctor? Because he should be working elsewhere if that's the case. If he's able to diagnose you with everything from head to toe, that doctor should be elsewhere. We need this guy at the head of the damn department if that's the case. But if people are not doing that, and like I said, the DBQs are important. Nexus letters are important. Like I said, this is all going to be on the website. VA forms, you just click on it and it gives you the links. All you got to do is hit download and it'll give you the link to whatever VA form is on here. And as we keep on going and finding more, because I show you this, I'm gonna show you what it is to do this on VA.gov. Find a VA form. I'll make this smaller. It's the only thing. I gotta find a way to make it smaller on. Find a VA form. Enter a keyword, form name, or number. Most people have no damn idea what the hell they're looking for when it comes to filing a VA form. It gives you the simple ones. File a disability claim. That one's simple, but you could just go through the front part and do it that way. Apply for the GI Bill and other education benefits. There you go, 2 forms. Apply for VA healthcare. This form. But if you don't know what you're looking for, you got to know at least the name, some keyword, and put it in there, or the exact number. There's no actual directory for it, which always seemed to confuse me. It's just like, why is this not more available? Now, if you go to the website, I'll tell you what it is, form number. On the bottom is what it is. Download. Opens up another thing. And it just highlights it that way, so that way you have access to it without having to deal with the va.gov site, which makes it so much more difficult to get to what you need to. Shouldn't have to click 8 times to get something so simple. Or at least if I search for something, if this actually had a directory that actually said, hey, these are all the VA forms, these are all the ones you can use, these are the outdated ones and stuff like that, it would make it simple for veterans to file and submit stuff. But education gives you 17 different things. This one, induction program, when it got revised, it gives you a listing of the stuff, but how do I know which one I need? Or what do I look for? I just like, that's why I made that site, so it's easier for you to understand that. The VA does have life insurance links. If you go to va.gov, you have to search for that. Let's see if I can find it. You'd have to look for it. Search life insurance. Service members group SGLI. So this is how basically you would find it. You would have had to go on to va.gov, life insurance, options and eligibility, and then the service members group life insurance. And then for $500,000 in coverage, it's $30 a month. So what kind of life insurance benefits can the SGLI get? Coverage up to the top limit of 500,000. 120 days of free coverage from the date you leave the military, which most people, that's long gone. Extension of free coverage for up to 2 years if you're totally disabled when you leave the military. Part-time coverage, and that's there. I'll give you the link to this. So you have that there. And you can just search around through there. But stuff like that, this is stuff that I don't want to say I'm going to make another va.gov because I don't want it to be overwhelming with information, but this is the stuff that, most veterans look for. VA forms, the DBQs, stuff like that. Most of the time, it depends because a lot of these programs, and then that's the thing, with a lot of the programs that are now in place, a lot of these programs are now coming out, and it's not. A lot of these programs are new. A lot of these programs are being implemented. A lot of this has to do with with our congressional representation, our veteran affair, our Senate affairs committee, our House affairs committee for veteran affairs, veteran relations, and stuff like that. There's pushes by the American Legion, the Veteran of Foreign Wars, the VFWs, two organizations that are, I wouldn't say partnered, but in certain aspects are partnered with the government that work with them. These are organizations that I believe for the American Legion, I think it's like $45 $45. I'm not sure if it's for the year or for a month or something like that, but it's stuff that it offers you benefits. So it's not like these other agencies where it's like, yeah, we're going to help you file a disability claim and then we're going to take a whole bunch of your back pay and then that's it. You don't get any more assistance from them. You're done. They made their money. You got your 100%. Be on your way. All these other entities like the BFW, the American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, the Gary Sinise Foundation, the Wounded Warrior Project, all these entities, and that's another part of the website that we're working on also, is basically veteran organizations. What I would like to do is I would like to have a section where we're going to make a community. It's going to be like a community section where it's going to be like, hey, if you're a veteran that owns a veteran owned business, I want to make it so that we can actually interact with each other. Make it so that you can put your veteran information and your veteran stuff out there. That it might be that I might have to charge because it's going to be on the website. I still got to pay for the website, but that'll be like maybe like a $5 charge a month if you want to like advertise on the website. But at the same time, I want to make it that it's just like, hey, this is a community forum for veteran owned businesses. So like, let's say, hey, if you're a veteran that works on, maybe you have a construction company or something like that. I want to be able to separate it out and put that in state benefits. So each state will show up like, hey, in my state, what are veteran owned businesses? Because that's not something that gets covered a lot. That's not something that gets highlighted a lot. What are veteran owned businesses within my state? So in the state of Texas, that shit is going to take forever. But at the same time, if people reach out and they put that information there, now I can put that as just like, hey, veteran owned businesses, and I can have a rundown on it, and people can go and click on it, on the link, and check out what you have to offer. So that way, hey, you want to support veterans? Here's the veteran's own business. This is something that is owned by a veteran. This is created or crafted or made by a veteran. If you want to support them that way, you can go ahead and do it that way. Instead of it being that you don't find it, because the thing is these larger organizations are multi-billion dollar. I would say the American Legion is probably billions of dollars. A regular veteran is not going to compete with the American Legion. They're not going to compete with the BFW. They're not going to compete with the DAV. They're not going to compete with organizations and nonprofits that are getting funded by major corporations and getting donated to. There's also grants and stuff like that that are available. And that's stuff that is just like, it's to put, the whole point is to make veterans more aware of the resources that are available to them. Now, how you go about using them, that's on you. Same way with the GI Bill. You can only use your GI Bill. I can show you that and tell you that it got extended, but I can't take you to school. I'm not going to walk you to school. I'm not going to do your homework for you or your classwork for you. That's something you need to do. Same thing with your disability claims. That's something you need to do. You need to look at the Code of Federal Regulations. See what your disability claims are. See what you can file for an increase. See what you actually have as a secondary. You have to figure that out and see what it is. I can show you what the resources are, but you still have to do the heavy lifting. You still have to get the documentation. You still have to get the imagery, all that stuff. I can't do that for you. You're the only one that can vouch for yourself, and you're the only one that knows how to do that. And that's how you have to make sure you establish that. Like I said, if you have a disability claim and you're about to file, make sure you are educating yourself so you are not being taken advantage of. Some of these corporations, that's what they do. If you're talking to an attorney or a lawyer and stuff like that, that's different. Why? Because those people will lose their licensing. There's a difference there. When you're talking to an actual attorney, that is an attorney. This is a lawful, like, certified person. When you're talking to one of these claim agencies and stuff like that, none of these people have certification. I'm not certified. I was looking into becoming a VA accredited. That's what I was going to say. I was going to do that. And then I looked at it and just like, you know what? I can't even charge people to do that. And I can't use the Veterans Awareness Project as an entity to do that. And that's the thing. The problem is that a lot of the times we have VSOs. We have that stuff. All of them are not great. That's the one thing we need to understand. How great are you at taking care of yourself? I don't give a fuck about the other entities. How great are you vouching for yourself? Like, yes, it's easy to pay the money to get somebody to vouch to you and do the stuff. How hard are you working to make sure that that goes smoothly? Are you educating yourself on the stuff that you may need? Because you got to remember, some people, it's just like, hey, you going to pay them? They're going to give you what you paying for. Some entities are just going to be like, you know what? We're going to go above and beyond. And you're going to be like, damn, this was amazing. And some are just going to be like, hey, you paid me $1,200. You get $1,200 worth of shit. Oh, just like it does get difficult and it is overwhelming. But the thing is doing research. Information is out there. You just have to make sure to search for it. Like, look, well, before I got my 100% P&T, I did the BDD program, the Benefits Delivery by Discharge, and I got my stuff done while in service. But I was watching. I knew a year out, hey, I'm getting out. I started watching. Who was it? Combat Craig. that was the one I started watching. I was just watching videos. I was just educating myself. It was just like, oh, this is how you file. This is what things are. This is Code of Federal Regulations. And then I started looking into it. I was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know this shit existed. Then it was just like, hey, where's my medical records? Line by line. Oh, this is there. This, and some shit I missed. Some is just like I filed and I didn't even know exactly what I was supposed to file. Like I said, I filed for back spasms. Back spasms isn't a diagnostic code. It's not even anywhere in there. I had bulging discs. I had degenerative disc disease. I had a slip disc. I had that, and that was contributing to my back spasms, but I didn't know that. I'm not a medical professional. I didn't know what the classification actually was. I just put back spasms because that's what was affecting me the most. The slip disc, yeah, it was painful, but when my back was just like, you're like, oh shit, disability claim. So that's a big difference. But then it's like I said, it's learning to educate yourself on that. It's not easy. But the thing is if we work together as veterans, we can accomplish so much more to get veterans the benefits they've earned. And that's one of the biggest things. We can benefit each other by assisting each other and learning from each other, but not getting information just from people that are on the internet that just want to say stuff like that. I was just like, no, here you go. This is where I found this information. This is where I found this documentation. This is where I found what your rating may be. This is where I found what they're measuring, what part of the body they're measuring. I'm going to make sure to find you the information from a source that is used by the VA to contribute to assessing you. It's not just making stuff up where it's just like, hey, if you file for this and you file for that, we can get you here. Things like that get veterans into trouble. Because the thing is then some veterans feel like, hey, we need to falsify or we need to commit fraud in order to get to a certain percentage. For some, it's just as simple as you knowing what the CFR says and knowing what you fall into, what the criteria is, what the documentation is. Do you have that nexus letter? Do you have that DBQ? Do you have a buddy statement? Do you have your own personal statement? Do you have medical research that corroborates what you're saying? All that documentation and all that stuff makes you concrete when it comes to filing disability claims. When it comes to this channel, we are going to answer your questions, whatever it may be, whatever you need information on. We are going to continue to do this. Like I said, we've been doing this on. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, all at the same time. I make sure to answer people on YouTube because YouTube is the main platform. But we're doing these on all these different channels. If you have veterans that have questions, send them over. Don't hesitate to ask a question. If you have a question, there's no such thing as a wrong question because you don't know. And if you don't know, that means there's probably another veteran that doesn't know either. But if we can get you an answer and we can show you where you resource that answer, now you can go and show that other veteran what it is, where it's at, and how to progress from there. And I'm gonna end it on that note, y'all. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Roberto, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Chris, congratulations again on becoming 100% PNT, and thank you for the donation and the super chat. Roberto, also thank you for the jewels. I guess the jewels is the new thing that's going through YouTube. Appreciate that. Anything that goes towards this is, like I said, this always works towards helping veterans, building up that website, developing it better, making it smoother, making it easier for veterans to obtain information and get the general consensus of what we need to do to get better, and providing people information like, hey, learning about the veterans bills, all the acts, all the stuff being proposed, all the changes coming in that will affect us going forward. Like I said, not only us, but veterans across the board. Annette, thank you as always for stopping by. Everybody that's a member, everybody that's donated, everybody that's taking the time to ask questions. Because remember, y'all help me learn stuff, and I'm trying to educate y'all. So it's an interaction, and I want to continue that with us veterans. We have to do that more often. Instead of bickering amongst each other, we need to make sure we're coming together to get answers to each other and helping us develop into what we need to be as successful veterans outside our time of the military. Good luck on the appointment, Gabriel. Like I said, look at the CFR, see what's in there, see what they're going to ask. Because remember, when it comes to examinations, they're going to ask you questions. The more documentation and the more concrete your stuff is, the less questions they ask you. It's not that they don't care, but veterans need to realize this. If your documentation and your imagery and your file is so concrete, I don't need to ask you too much. You got migraines, you got a pattern, you got the coach thing, you got the medication, you got the diagnosis, you got all this. I don't need to ask you. All I need to ask you is how many times do you get those headaches? How bad do they get? Do they knock you out? Stuff like that. And that's it. Next topic. But if I'm not sure of what I'm looking at, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna end up like, well, I feel like 50 Cent, 21 questions to figure out what the hell is going on, so that I know I fill this out. It's correct. Oh, for vertigo, shit. I hated having that. It was one of the worst experiences ever. But I said, this is what we do. We do this every Sunday. Shorts are up every Wednesday. We have shorts, just tidbit information, just putting that out there. As we go, we're gonna have another stream sometime during the afternoon. We are gonna be doing some gaming also. So veterans that want to game, we'll develop that also. Try to find different games and stuff like that, so we can have like little community nights and stuff like that for members and for just people that want to game. Website is up. Check it out. vetawarenessproject.com. Check it out. Like I said, leave comments in these videos. Make sure to leave comments. Make sure to leave suggestions. Let me know what it is y'all thinking, what it is y'all may need more information for. It may take some time for me to get it onto the website, but at least I know this is something that is viable and can help you veterans be better and be better prepared. As always, take care of one another. Be good to one another. Look out for one another. And love one another. And stay marvelous while doing it, y'all. I'm just Cruz. This is the Veteran Awareness Project. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We will see you next Sunday, 12 noon, without fail, as long as there's no crazy snowstorm or blizzard that might knock out power. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. Let's continue to support each other and continue supporting veterans. Push this out to your veteran friends. Let them know what's going on, and let's help each other. I'm just Cruz. I'm signing out. I'll check you on the next one. Peace.